You're now live streaming to YouTube live. AnimeEveryday, blah 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 blah. Is that right? Why am I meant to know? Oh, there's comments. It doesn't say anybody's watching. How am I meant to know if it's live? I guess so. Put in the comments yes if you can hear me, my voice, I guess. I don't know, this is my first time doing this, I'm not really sure what's happening. Looks like people are commenting, but I'll get this started in a minute. Maybe there's just like a delay or something, I don't know. Is this what's happening? Okay, I'll cut this out in the proper version. Nobody's commenting yes though, so I'm gonna comment. Okay, so okay, cool. I've got like a weird feeling that it says I'm dropping frames or something for internet reasons or something. I'm gonna try and find a way to sort out. Let's see, can I change the settings of the stream, like the bit rate? I can, bit rate. I don't really need much bit rate because it's like video. This is still image. I don't need that much. Right, the bit rate is going down, I think. God, if somebody knows how to stream properly on using XSplit, please do tell me. It'll start in a minute though, I think. Properly stream. I really don't know why. I don't understand. I don't stream much, so maybe if I like turn the bitrate down even more. I don't really need bitrate. It's like it's an audio only thing. I used to use Google Hangouts for this, but I think they've like stopped support for that or something. This is pretty fun so far, though. Oh, so some people are saying they can hear me fine. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, I think I just had like the bit rate up too high, or I had too many bits in the live stream. Cool. I guess better start answering some questions and stuff like that. So I'll just explain what I'm gonna do. Get Twitter up. If you, oh yeah, maybe I have to tweet or something. Do I have to tweet out? Yeah, it doesn't automatically tweet out either. Okay, I guess, how do I get copy video URL? Look at there. I'll just put it on Twitter. I don't really need to put it on Facebook or anything like that. Because I've never used my Facebook page. What does that look like if I click on it? Oh, cool. Right. Well, there's 70 people watching. That's pretty mad. Okay. So I've got a live chat here of comments, so you can put your questions that you want answered in the comments, or you could tweet them to me. On Twitter at AnimeEveryday. And I will try and, you know what, I'm going to open like a notepad document, so because these comments go pretty fast, I'm just going to copy and paste your comments into a notepad document, and then they won't zoom away when I'm trying to answer them. Let's try and find one I can start with. Yeah, so post your comments. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments asking me to talk about the Digibro fiasco, the latest video from another YouTuber, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I think I'll probably need a bit more viewers before I talk about that. I don't really want to jump right into that because it's kind of, a lot of people have talked about it already. Yeah, but I think I'm going to start doing more live Q&As a bit more, because I'm making a bunch of videos right now, but they take so long to make that it's like once or twice a month, and I quite like having the idea of still getting content out without having to spend a lot of time. Okay, so ask me some non-drama related questions first, and maybe I'll talk about drama later. Okay, so the first one's saying, what do I do outside of YouTube? Yeah, and he guessed right. I'm at university / working. I do kind of a lot of social media related stuff that's kind of very similar to what I do on YouTube, but for brands and stuff like that. It's pretty fun. But YouTube is just a little fun hobby that I do. It's by no means a full-time job. That's why I only upload I can only upload maybe twice or 3 times a month on like a really good month, when I've got a lot of work done and stuff like that. But maybe that might change in the future. I don't know. Maybe when I graduate or something. Let's see. That was a good. It's like 50% of the questions are about the drama. I'll tell you what. Maybe I'll talk about it, and maybe. See, I can't just jump straight into it. I need to have a little bit of actual content before I do that. I should probably say the people's names that are asking the comments. I can't remember who that was. Let's do this one here. Fiv Nick is his username, and he asked my favourite Masaki Yuasa show. And I think my favourite Yuasa show would probably be I've never really had like one. It would probably say the one I've watched the most is the Tatami Galaxy, and I can like quite easily sit down and watch that. It's maybe a 4.5 to 5 hours runtime. I can quite easily just watch that all in a one-hour, and it's like a different experience every time. But everything he's made, I've really really enjoyed. Even his lesser appreciated things like Mind Game and stuff like that. I still really enjoy them. Kaiba is kind of on and off. My favorite kind of switches between Kaiba, Tatami, and Ping Pong constantly because they're all just amazing. But yeah, I like all the stuff. If I had to give one, I'd probably say the Tatami Galaxy. Someone says thoughts on, or River Dolphin says the thoughts on 2017's Ghost in the Shell. I'm presuming he means the live action film. You know what? Like, I'm always like, I've always said right from the start, it's like hold judgment until the movie actually comes out, and don't base kind of, you know, silly opinions on any kind of drama relating it or news reports, because a film like that, it's like jam packed, followed by like a kind of plague of irrelevant coverage. And but I think like people have actually they done a press release for the first, I think, like 15 minutes of the film or something like that, and that in itself has had like really negative reviews from. So I don't know what to think about it. I think it's out at the end of this month, and I'm definitely going to go see it in the cinema, because I like the franchise a lot. But you know what, I don't have like super, like the most I'm expecting, I'm like, if I like a very good turnout would for it to be like a really just like bang average action film that has like nice action, looks nice, and isn't a complete mess. I'd rather they do that than like anything else, because it's not going to be very good like like relative to the original movie or anything like that, or the series. Yeah, I really don't know, but I'm going to hold my proper judgment until obviously I've seen the full movie. What is your favourite Ghibli movie, or Ghibli, however you want to pronounce that, by Diego Braga? Favourite? I like to say Only Yesterday. I think that's the Ghibli movie that had the most impact on myself. Or I've always really liked Nausicaa. I think the world of Nausicaa was like probably their most vast, and I love the kind of just everything about the kind of like the history that they kind of like implemented into the story without really like explaining any of the world. They just had kind of like old ruins and stuff like that told so much. I really like Nausicaa, and obviously the film is looks amazing, as does every other Ghibli movie. But yeah, probably Only Yesterday, because it's like so unique and different, and like it's like so simple, but it has much more of a like kind of impact on yourself. Let's see. We got a lot of questions. I didn't expect this many people to watch, to be honest. Do you like Disney films? To be honest, not really. Never really watched a Disney film and went, oh, that's brilliant. It's not really my kind of scene, to be honest. Oh yeah, Whisper of the Heart is a great one. That captures the kind of simplicity that Only Yesterday does, but has that like really magical feel to it. And I mean, some of the shots in Whisper of the Heart, because it's one of the few Ghibli films that takes place in a kind of contemporary setting, and some of the kind of like modern day like Japanese like little apartments and stuff like that. I just love that imagery. It's very, very Makoto Shinkai from like what's that? Whatever his bloody Garden of blah blah blah, whatever. that one's called. I can't remember, but just those kind of that imagery of the super detailed Japanese apartments is like something I really like. So I love that in Whisper of the Heart. Well, that's a pretty good one from Mr. Nice Guy, or Nice Guy, however you want to pronounce that. I'm going to pronounce a lot of things wrong in this live stream, so get ready. He says, what's the personal favourite list you've made? I'm going to get out my lists, because you know what, list content, I used to do a lot of list content. I really liked list content, because it meant I could like talk about like 10 completely different, completely like random anime that I wanted to, without having to make whole videos on them and get no views, you know. So it was like I could get away with talking about an anime that nobody had heard of. It would probably be my like I made a video top 10 underrated anime, and I just went to town on that in terms of kind of shows I was talking about. Obviously my top 10 anime of all time holds a special place in my heart as well. Yeah, I'm sorry for anyone if it's buffering. Okay, Hyper Gecko says, what's your favourite so bad it's good anime? That's a tricky one. That's a really tricky one. You know what, like, I genuinely think there's something there in so bad it's good anime, and there's a certain kind of level of consciousness that I think some shows have, that they know what they're doing in that kind of regard, and they can do some really interesting things. I like Cross Angie from the Cross Angie. It was a series from 2015, 16. I don't think it was last year. I think it was maybe the year before last year. But it was so ridiculously over the top and so bad. But there was something there to it, you know. But I don't know. None of them are like memorable enough to really kind of stand out to me. I'm not a huge fan of that, but there is like some titles do have like that kind of effect, which is really cool. Also, if you are asking a question and it doesn't get answered, which it probably won't, because there's so many going by every second, like I'm like every time I ask a question, like 10 more questions have popped up. If you don't get your question answered, just post it again in the comments, or maybe no, I keep saying Twitter, but I'm not checking Twitter. And I'm not checking your questions by how interesting they are. I'm just picking random ones, so don't. It's been so long since I've talked about lots of different anime. It's pretty interesting. Let's find one. Someone's asking, are you going to review Akira? I've made a couple of videos about Akira before. It's one of those things that like I've talked about it too much over like the past, and I think I've made like maybe 3 or 4 videos really talking about it. So maybe one day I'd like to like really sit down and make a big video about it, but because it's one of my favourite films. I've seen it like 10, 15 times. Okay, here's a good question by Baka Yatsu. He says, he's asking how you approach Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and if you should watch the movies first or go straight into the series. For anyone who doesn't know, there's a bunch of movies and a 111 episode, maybe 150, I don't know, 115 episode or whatever series. I personally just watched the series. I went straight into the series. But I think I've heard about people doing the movies as well, and I think they've had a good experience. I mean, the movies aren't super, from what I've heard, aren't super like important. You can watch the series quite fine. It's very self-contained. That's how I watched it. I'd probably recommend just watching the series, because I think that's generally how most people do it, and I think obviously people enjoy it. Here's a question from good old Kenji the Enji. It says, are you going to watch Dorame? It's a lot of like it's on my list of the things that I want to watch soon, but I don't have much time to watch things at all recently with university and stuff like that. So but it's on my list. There's a bunch of stuff that I really want to watch, but I just have no time. It just happens that everything I want to watch is like, 50 episodes long or something. Let's do a question about Aria. There's a few questions about Aria here. One's a very loaded question. What do you think makes Aria so unique compared to other slice of life anime? And then, what's your favourite Aria character by Renato? I'm not even going to pronounce your second name, mate. That's too complicated for me. Well, I mean, firstly, I think to explain what makes Aria unique over other slice of life anime would take an incredible amount of time and thought and months and months of writing to kind of put your thoughts together. I think, to be honest, like, you've just got to watch it, really, and everybody always thinks that. Everybody's like, they watch everybody talking about Aria and praising it so much, and they're like, surely it's a slice of life show, surely it's good, but it's not the best. And like, they look at screenshots like, yeah, it looks nice, but surely it can't be that good. And then you watch it, and then it's not really until, I think, either towards the end of the second season, or if not then towards the end of the third season, where you really start to realize that, like, there's some really special things going on there. But it's very hard to describe. It's very hard to describe in words. But so I know I couldn't describe it, like, I couldn't write it up right now. So never mind talking it off the top of my head. Patrick Isurdo is asking about the Monogatari series, and it's something I should really watch all of it. I've watched, I think, Bakemonogatari, parts of Monogatari. It's really interesting. I think, like, the general work by Shaft is really interesting. I think they do a lot of really cool stuff, and I think the Monogatari is some of the best stuff they do. But I haven't done enough of it, to be honest. I haven't watched enough of it, to form a proper opinion, so I don't know. Do you know any good horror anime? Anime's not hugely. I've made a video actually about horror anime, a very long time ago. It's not a very good video, but it highlights a lot of good horror. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Highlights a lot of good horror stuff, but I think, like, Perfect Blue, even though it's not necessarily, like, horror in the sense of, like, monsters and stuff like that. I think it's horror in the sense of, like, Stanley Kubrick, The Shining kind of horror. So I think if you're into that really psychological horror, Perfect Blue is the place to go. If not, I'd say Mononoke is the series. Just Mononoke. It's probably the best kind of thriller, suspense, kind of, like, magical fantasy horror kind of thing I've seen, that has a lot of, like, demons and spirits in it, and it's a lot of short stories, which is really cool. There's so many questions. Someone's asking, anime_22 is asking, is there a Scottish anime? I don't think there has ever been an anime set in Scotland. I think there's been some, like, I think the Helsing English dub had, like, some Scottish voice actors in it, or people playing characters with Scottish accents. But I don't think there's a great animated film called The Illusionist, which is set in my city, Edinburgh, and that is brilliant. Little animated film, The Illusionist, if you want to search that up. That's set in Scotland. But I think like, anime very rarely jumps out of, like, goes to actual locations. There's been a few in London, a few in New York and stuff like that, but it's not, like, a super common thing. But maybe, I guess there's, like, yeah, thinking about it now, there's, like, locations here and there, but it's not a hugely popular thing to do location in anime. It'd be cool to see though, because there's nothing better. Like Trainspotting is like one of my favorite movies because it's like set in like the place you live, which is like really cool, and seeing like locations that you go to is really cool. Guess that's a little bit of a novelty, but right. So I've been streaming for 20 minutes. Got a steady amount of streamers watching. Who I guess I have to talk about the drama. The drama. I don't want to address it like that though. If anybody has some specific questions about what they'd like me to cover, because I think so much has been said about this recently that it's like on social media and on things, it's like I don't want to just repeat stuff. So if anyone wants to hear like my point of view on a specific thing, put it in the comments. It's just been a bit of a ridiculous situation. Someone says, have I seen Trainspotting 2? I have seen Trainspotting 2, and it's fantastic. It's such a good movie. Especially as far as like reboot sequels go, it's one of the best that I've seen. Yeah, so I'm going to try and pick out a comment. Okay, now they're all coming now, okay. Well, I didn't realise I was going to get so many interesting questions. This is annoying because I want to answer them all. Maybe I should incorporate some of these and find a way to answer these questions. These are really good, interesting topics. Right. Well, trying to scroll up and keep the. I'm trying to like keep the. Alright, here's one from Finley Miles. What do you think of Digibro's representation of the anime community? So, I guess I'll just talk about it briefly. But so if anybody doesn't know, there's no way I can explain it. But if anybody doesn't know, Digibro is another video creator, and he made a video kind of criticizing essentially everything and everyone on YouTube apart from his like small group of friends or anyone that doesn't do exactly the same as him. And he kind of made this really egotistical, kind of a little bit crazy video where he complained for like 30 minutes about how anime content on YouTube isn't more like him, and like and it was just kind of like it was a bit mad. Some of the stuff he was saying was like crazy, and I think he's like doing it on purpose to just get attention, which is weird because if he just put that effort into making his own content and just sticking with himself, like he'd make so many more views if he just made videos about anime instead of like videos about anime YouTubers and stuff like that. It was a bit cringy, a bit mental at points. Like some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, that's a bit mental, mate. But I guess that's what happens if you get cooped up in your room making YouTube videos all day. It was a drunken vent, someone was saying, yeah. But you can't really keep getting away with that. You can't just keep blaming it on, like, a lot of when he says like when he has these rants and he says something controversial, people are like, oh no, it's just on his rant channel, and you know, it wasn't a full scripted video. But I think that's like, I don't know, I just think that's an excuse when you're, I mean, some of the stuff he said wasn't, it's like, in one breath he was complaining about how a lot of channels and videos don't get to the point enough and are too flimsy and aren't critical enough. Like, there's two mains where they go on too much, and that their criticism isn't doesn't have enough depth, and they just say what they don't like or what they like, and not why they like it or why they don't like it. But he done that while making a 30-minute video about the same thing over and over again, and also offering criticism that had no depth to it whatsoever. But I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't want to criticize that video too much, because it seems like it's now at the point where the guy has a possible genuine issue, mental health wise, and I think, I don't know, I don't think it's like something that you should criticize too much. There's not a whole lot of point criticizing it. I think he probably shouldn't have made it in the way he did. It doesn't seem like a very constructive thing to do, to drunkenly ramble about these like pretty important topics. But you know, I don't know. It wasn't a very good video. He didn't really make any points that were worth that were constructive or worth listening to or anything, and didn't. I don't know. He just kind of seemed to lose any kind of integrity, like making comments about people's voice and stuff like that, and like, I don't know. It wasn't a very good video. I mean, as low as Digibro videos normally go, this was a pretty low one. I think he's taking. I don't know. It's hard to comment on a lot of this stuff because you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but there seemed to be, you know. It was just there wasn't a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to even like say positively about it, I don't think. Yeah, the video's contradicted itself constantly, and he seems to be kind of becoming what he kind of complained about. I'm not sure how. I don't know what the implications of that video have on anybody's channel, or because it certainly didn't affect anybody's channel negatively. Maybe his own. I don't know. Maybe that might. He just seems to be hurting his reputation more and more. I thought Gigux or Gig UK or however you want to pronounce his username. His video was really good. Good response. I thought brought up some really good points. But he was kind of like arguing an already like dead argument. Digibro didn't suggest like bring up any actual valid points, so it was kind of he was kind of like, you know, he was kind of making points that everybody was thinking, but got to give props to Giguk for doing that, because normally he kind of stays on his high throne of however many subscribers he has, and never kind of squabbles with the lower YouTubers. I don't think it would be nice for that video to have had an actual effect and maybe influenced like YouTubers to do different things, but the message wasn't done very well at all. Oh, wait 2 seconds. Right. Okay. I had to mute my microphone there for a second. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there was a potential there if Digibro had done that, like, if he'd done it like, if he just done it like coherently and made some actual points like that, like he has so much how do you say, influence and impact, that he could have like done something really positive. Instead, he kind of just done something kind of regressive. It was regressive. But yeah, I think there's like everything that's been said has been said. I don't feel the need to do anything. But yeah, dramas like in general is pretty fun, I guess. Gives a little bit of spice to the scene. Okay, let's pick another question. non-drama related. I watch all the viewers drop off now that do want to hear that. I'm liking season 2 of Rakugo just as much as season 1. What are your thoughts on it? I've not watched the second season of Rakugo yet, just because I haven't watched really much this season. I had a bunch of seasonal thoughts actually. I wrote a video but never made the video, I just wrote it. So I've got a bunch of season thoughts and I think I might publish them somewhere. I've watched maybe 6 or 7 shows, but Rakugo is not one of them yet. But obviously I'll watch it at some point because it was absolutely the best show of last year, and probably the best show, probably one of the best shows of the last decade, quite easily. Up there with some of the best of the last decade for sure. I'll watch for season 2. I've actually heard that some people are liking the season 2 more than season 1, and I understand that. I can see that totally. Well, that'd be like, I'll get to that soon. Let's see. I really don't like how the live chat on this works. But yeah, I think I'm going to do more live streaming content because my videos take so long to make because I don't have a lot of time, and they're like, I spend like 30-40 hours on each video, like all in all, and that's hard to do maybe more than once or twice a month when you're like just fitting it as like a side thing. And live streams kind of allow me to offer kind of additional content that doesn't, like, I can just like start streaming and that'll be it, you know. That's like content right there, made, done. But yeah, I think I'm going to do more of these. Tancho K asks, needs more Mushishi. To be honest, we've had a lot of Mushishi. I remember when I first watched Mushishi, what did it come out, 2006 or 2005 maybe? I remember watching it at first, and it was just one season of Mushishi had been out, and it was the best thing ever. I loved it instantly when I watched it, and it's still one of my favourites. And then we had like the second season, which is just mental, and then like all the extra stuff that we got on top of the second season. I think for like something that's as niche as Mushishi, I think we've had a lot of really good content. That's one of the things I really should be more grateful, is the fact that we had so much Mushishi. I never quite like set in how lucky that was to get so much Mushishi, and to have the extra stuff we got from the franchise be just as good as the original stuff. I've got to rewatch that sometime. It's such a good. The second season was so good. I think it maybe even prefer the second season to the first. I'm trying to find questions. From Plasmatize, what do you like / appreciate most from the anime medium? Probably kind of relating back to that last question, probably how niche everything is in the medium, and even like the most popular things are, relative to media in general, very niche. And I think you can find such specific shows and movies and pieces of art that you just don't really get on a big scale level in a lot of other mediums. For music example, you'd have to really dig into things like Bandcamp and stuff like that to find experimental stuff that in anime is like offered like in every show, because of how kind of the Japanese are stylistically and stuff like that. Japanese video games are the same. You can just find so many like cool things that are popular in Japan that would just never become popular over here, and I quite like that about the Japanese media. Just in general, Japanese media in general is really cool. Someone's asking about my thoughts on Kunihiko Ikahara. I think he's an interesting director, but one that's never like personally connected with me as much as other directors. And I don't think his shows never really struck a chord, and I just never, like, personally, I can see why people like them, but personally I was like, I don't know, I never really got into him as much, which is weird because like on paper I should really like his stuff, but I just never connected with it that much. Um, have I ever made any essays on anime? I guess you're meaning written essays. I'm not terribly great at writing. So I've not done much written stuff, just purely written stuff, because I normally make anything I write into videos. But I've done some written stuff on like film theory and stuff like that for exams and report papers and stuff like that. But nothing very good. I'm not very good at writing, to be honest. I wish I was. That'd be a cool thing to do, but cool skill to have. But I mean, I guess it's something that kind of comes naturally to a lot of people. Someone's asking, Moe Nakano is asking, have I seen an Animal Crossing film? I didn't even realise there was an Animal Crossing film. Someone's got to tweet me that after this live stream. That sounds pretty cool. That would make such a good well, that would make like such, that is like essentially what like every slice of life anime is Animal Crossing. That'd be interesting as a film. I don't know how they do that. Have you heard of a 90s Godzilla educational anime by Clona? No, I've not heard of that either. Are people just going to start saying things I've not heard? Oh, this is a good one. Again, no chance I'm pronouncing that name. I'm planning on doing an analysis of, or a video of Ghost in the Shell Innocence, and it's like totally that's since making my original Ghost in the Shell video, the big one. Like I've been wanting to make an Innocence video because it's like it's so underrated. Innocence, Ghost in the Shell 2, like compared to like everybody like just is generally considered that the original Ghost in the Shell is like a good movie, but nobody gives that any kind of praise to Ghost in the Shell Innocence, and I think it's such a good film, such an interesting film as well. Like some of the stuff they do with the visuals is insane. Like I genuinely think it's one of the most technically advanced anime films ever made. Some of the shots and the composition and like the animation and the camera movements are like just mind blowing. But it's like such a hard film to get into. I'm actually mentioning it in my next video, but one day I will make a full video on it. I think more people should watch it though. I definitely, if you haven't watched it and are a fan of Ghost in the Shell, go watch it. It's tough to watch because it's full of like dialogue that doesn't make any sense, but totally go watch it. Some Big Bone is asking what I think of JoJo. I've not watched it, although I get asked on a daily basis to watch it. And I don't think I'm probably not going to watch it. I probably I mean, it's probably something I'm going to watch at some point. But I mean, people literally, I get a comment, at least 1 or 2 comments a day asking me to watch JoJo or asking where JoJo is on any kind of video I make. That's got a massive fan base. So it's interesting. I'll watch it one day. But yeah, I mean, how many comments have we had? Because tell me how many comments we've had. Because they're just constant now. Like there's so many. What are you doing? What's your favorite Kendrick Lamar song? That is a hard song. That is a hard question. Whoa, what? I'd have to really think about that one. It would be something off Good Kid, Mad City, but or maybe something off Untitled Unmastered. I don't know. That's a tricky one. I'd have to really think about that one. But yeah, so I've got so many questions, and I'll maybe try and find a way to incorporate these questions into a video or something. Any extra questions? I'll maybe think about that. I don't know. Let me know if you wanted, if that's like something that you'd be interested in. I don't know how like interesting questions are to listen to someone answering questions. Like they're fun to answer myself because there's so many interesting questions and perspectives. But I don't know if they're like as interesting to watch and to listen to on live streams or on videos. So, but yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do for now. I still need to work out. I've got to work out live streaming as a platform, because I think there's so much potential in it. It's such a cool platform. But as for now, I think that's it for this one. So thanks for anybody who watched live, or anybody who is watching this after the broadcast. I think it might be on YouTube somewhere. But yeah, thanks for everybody who subscribe to the channel as well. 50,000. It's pretty crazy. I don't even know how to stop it. I'm just stalling for time here. But yeah, big up everyone in the live stream. And if you have any question that you still want answered, tweet me at AnimeEveryday, at anime_everyday, and I'll answer it on Twitter. Thank you, and goodbye. I think I'm going to stop recording now, possibly.